Welcome to Money First CEO, the podcast for business owners ready to run their business like a boss and make their money work smarter, not harder. I'm Harman Johnston, bookkeeper, Profit First professional, business coach, and mum of two from Sydney, Australia. I've built a thriving business by mastering money habits and systems that create real freedom. This show will help you take control of your finances so you can build a business and life that truly works for you. Every episode delivers one powerful takeaway you can action right away for more clarity, confidence, and cash. And from time to time, I'll be joined by special guests, fellow entrepreneurs, experts, and real business owners, sharing their money wins, lessons, and insights to inspire your next move. Because when you put money first, you unlock the options and freedom you deserve. So hit follow, grab your coffee, and let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome back to the Money First CEO podcast, where we believe if you put your money first, the rest will follow. I'm your host, Harman, and today's episode is different from what I normally do. There's no framework, no 7 steps, no system to implement, no profit first. Today, I'm just going to be honest with you because everyone loves talking about the wins, the new clients, the growth, the milestones, the revenue targets, the team expanding. And don't get me wrong, those things do matter. I'm proud of what I built here at Blu. But if I could go back and give my younger business owner self some advice, I wouldn't focus on the wins entirely. I'd focus on the mistakes as well, because that's where the real lessons are. We learn from getting it wrong than we ever learn from getting it right. Success teaches you to keep going, but failure teaches you to stop and possibly change direction. And changing direction at the right time is what separates business owners who last from business owners who burn out. So today I'm sharing the things I got wrong, the mistakes I've made, the lessons I had to learn the hard way, not because I want sympathy, but because I know some of you are in the middle of making these same mistakes right now. And maybe hearing that someone else has been through it will give you permission to possibly do things differently. So let's get into it. The first one is I waited too long to build a team. And probably the one that cost me the most time is that I waited far too long to build a team. And the reason was simple. I was convinced that nobody could do it as well as me. I knew how I wanted things done. I knew the standard, I knew the detail, and I genuinely believed that if someone else did the work, it wouldn't be good enough. So I held on to everything, every client, every task, every piece of admin, every email, every lodgement, everything ran through me. And for a while, it worked when the business was small and the client list was manageable. Doing everything myself was fine. I could maintain the quality. I could stay across the detail. I could keep up. But the business grew. In our first year, we signed on 50 clients and I didn't let go. I was doing it all by myself. And it was through COVID, so you can only imagine how things were. So what happened was, because I was doing everything myself, I became the bottleneck. Everything was waiting on me. Clients were waiting on me, tasks were piling up, and instead of the business getting easier as it grew, it got harder because the workload kept increasing, but there was still only one of me. And here's what I didn't understand at the time. Perfectionism was the thing holding me back, not driving me forward. I told myself I was maintaining standards, but really I was just scared to trust someone else with my work. And that fear of letting go, of someone not doing it exactly the way I would, kept me stuck for longer than I should have. And the cost wasn't just my time, it was opportunities I couldn't take on because I didn't have capacity. It was growth I couldn't pursue because there was no one to share the load. It was my own well-being because I was running on empty and pretending I was fine and thriving. When I eventually did start building a team, when I brought on my senior BASA agent, the shift was significant. Not because they did things the way I would have done them, but because they did things well, really well. In some areas, better than I was doing them because it was their focus and their strength. And it's not just the BASA agent. My first couple of bookkeepers were exceptional. And the things I was scared of, the quality dropping, the clients noticing, the wheels falling off, none of that happened. What happened was the business got better. The clients got better service because things weren't bottlenecked through me anymore. And I got to focus on the work that actually required me. If I could go back, I'd tell myself to start building the team earlier. Not when I was desperate, not when I was drowning, but earlier. when things were still manageable, because bringing someone in from a position of strength is a completely different experience from bringing someone in when you're already burnt out. And if you're listening to this and you're the person who does everything, who holds on to every task because nobody can do it like you, I hear you. That was me. But I promise you, the thing you're scared of is far less scary than the burnout that's coming if you don't let go. Okay, second, this one ties into the first, but it's different enough that it deserves its own segment. I didn't just try to do everything myself, I tried to learn everything myself too. Copywriting, branding, ads, funnels, website design, social media strategy. I'd watch tutorials, read articles, play around with the tools, and convince myself I could figure it out because it felt productive. It felt like I was learning a new skill, and learning a new skill meant I was growing. But here's the truth. Learning something new is exciting. It gives you that little rush of progress. And as business owners, we love that feeling. We love being capable. We love proving we can handle things. But the problem is being capable of doing something is not the same as being the right person to do it. I spent hours writing copy for lead magnets, ads, hours, and the result was okay. It was serviceable, but it wasn't converting. I didn't have the confidence in it because deep down I knew I wasn't a copywriter. I was a bookkeeper who'd spent an afternoon trying to write something like a copywriter. I tried to put together my own branding, picked some colors, chose a font, made templates. It looked all right, but it wasn't cohesive. Everything was slightly different. My social media didn't match my website. My lead magnet didn't match my emails. There was no consistency. Because I was making design decisions I wasn't qualified to make. I tried running my own ads and spent money without really understanding whether the targeting was right or the creative was working. And every single one of those things eventually got handed to an expert, and every single time the result was better, significantly better, and in less time. And here's the lesson. The money I thought I was saving by doing it myself, I wasn't saving it. I was wasting it because my time has a value. And every hour I spent doing something outside my expertise was an hour I wasn't spending on the work that actually generates revenue and grows the business. So if I could do it again, I'd bring in experts sooner, before the wasted time, before the average results, before the frustration. I tell myself, Harmon, you don't need to learn everything. You need to lead everything. And leading means knowing when to hand things to someone who's better at it than you. Now, I've got a copywriter, a branding expert, an ad specialist, an email marketing expert. My job isn't to do their work. My job is to set the vision, communicate what I need, and let them execute it to a standard I couldn't reach on my own. And that's not a weakness. That's what a CEO does. And I wish I'd understood that earlier. Now, the third one is I had no boundaries. And this is the one that probably affected my life the most. Not just my business, my life. I didn't have boundaries with clients, with work hours, with myself. I answered emails at night. I answered messages on the weekends. If a client had a question at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, I'd respond because I thought that's what part of running a business looked like. I thought being available all the time was part of the deal, part of providing a good service, part of being dedicated. And I know I'm not alone in this. So many business owners, especially in the early days, blur the line between being committed and being always on. We wear it like a badge. I'm always available for my clients, and it's something to be proud of. But here's what I didn't realize at the time. When you're always available for your clients, you're never really present for anything else. I was at dinner with my family by checking my phone. I was watching my kids play by thinking about a client email. I was technically there, but mentally somewhere else. Always half in the business, never fully switched off. And I put work ahead of my health more times than I'd like to admit. Skipped meals, skipped exercise, stayed up late working when I should have been sleeping, told myself it was only temporary and things would get better. Once things calmed down, I'd look after myself properly. I'd start exercising, eating healthy, but things don't calm down unless you make them calm down. And I missed many family moments, bedtime stories I wasn't there for because I was finishing something. Weekend mornings I spent in front of a laptop instead of with my kids. Everyday moments that you don't get back. And there was always one more thing to do, always one more email, one more task, and the business always felt more urgent than everything else. So what changed? I set boundaries, real ones. Not I'll try to log off earlier kind of boundaries, actual non-negotiable rules. I stopped answering emails after hours. I set clear response times with clients and communicated them upfront. I blocked out family time in my calendar and treated it like a client meeting, non-negotiable. And do you know what happened? Nothing. No clients left. Nobody complained. In fact, the ones who were worth keeping respected it. They valued working with someone who had structure, someone who wasn't frantic and reactive. And the clients who wouldn't respect those boundaries, they were never the right clients to begin with. Those are the clients who drain your energy, push your limits, and treat you like you're on call, rather than a professional running a business. So if I could go back, I'd set those boundaries from day one. I'd understand earlier that being available 24/7 doesn't make you a better business owner. It makes you an exhausted one. And exhausted people make bad decisions. They react instead of respond. They say yes when they should say no. They sacrifice their health and relationships for a business that will always ask for more. Your business will take everything you give it. It's your job to decide how much that is. And a Money First CEO protects that time the same way they protect their profit, intentionally. Segment 4, I didn't pay myself properly for too long. This one is close to home given what we talk about on this podcast, but I think it's important to be honest about this one. I did put systems in place early enough to pay myself consistently. In the early days, I paid myself whatever was left, which some months was okay and some months was not much at all. There was no structure, no allocation, no consistency, and I justified it the way every business owner justifies it. The business needs the money right now. I'll pay myself properly once things settle down or once these invoices get paid. And things don't settle, they just change shape. There's always a reason to put yourself last, a new expense, a slow month, an investment you want to make, and before you know it, a year has gone by and you've been inconsistently paying the most important person in the business less, and that is you. This is the exact problem I know help my clients solve, and the irony is not lost on me that I had to make the same mistake before I could teach others how to avoid it. When I finally implemented profit first in my own business, and when I set up the accounts and locked in my allocation percentages, the shift was immediate. Not because the revenue changed, but because the discipline changed. I started paying myself first every time money came in, not what was left over, a proper predetermined amount that went into my owner's pay account before anything else. And it changed how I saw my business. I wasn't a volunteer anymore. I was a CEO, and CEOs get paid consistently without guilt. And if you're in that place right now where you're paying yourself last or inconsistently, I want you to hear this. It's not noble. It's not a sacrifice that makes your business stronger. It's a pattern that will wear you down over time. You started your business for freedom, for flexibility, for your family. And if the business isn't paying you properly, it's not giving you any of those things. It's just the job you created for yourself with more stress and less certainty than the one you left. So pay yourself from day one. Even if it's small, build the habit, build the system, and grow it as the business grows. I wish I had done it from the start. It's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about helping my clients do it now. Segment 5, I carried too much for too long. If I could sum up all those mistakes in one sentence, it would be this one. I carried too much for too long because I thought that was what successful business owners did. I thought the wait was normal. I thought the stress was part of the deal. I thought being overwhelmed meant I was working hard enough. And I thought that asking for help was a sign of weakness. And none of that is true. The wait is not normal. The stress is not a requirement. And asking for help is one of the strongest things you could do. But I didn't see that for a long time. I just kept pushing, kept saying yes, kept absorbing more, kept telling myself it would get easier. And the thing is, from the outside, it looked like success. The business was growing, clients were happy, revenue was increasing. Nobody would have looked at me and thought she's struggling. But inside, I was exhausted. I was making decisions from a place of fatigue instead of clarity. I was reactive instead of strategic. And the things that mattered most, my health, my family, my own well-being, were consistently getting the leftovers. And that's the pattern I see with so many of the business owners I work with. They're doing well by every external measure, but internally, they're carrying a weight that nobody else sees because we don't talk about it. We post the wins on Instagram, we keep the struggles to ourselves. And would I change these mistakes, some of them? Yes. I wish I'd set boundaries earlier. I wish I'd built a team sooner. I wish I'd paid myself properly from the start. But the truth is, those mistakes taught me lessons I couldn't have learned any other way. They shaped how I run my business today. They shaped the systems I've built, the boundaries I maintain, the way I support my clients. And many of the systems, boundaries, and strategies I teach now come directly from lessons I learned the hard way. My clients don't have to make all the same mistakes because I've already made plenty of them for all of us. And that's the gift of being honest about failure. When you share what went wrong, not just what went right, you give other people permission to do things differently, to ask for help sooner, to set boundaries earlier, to build systems before they're burned out. Success isn't about getting everything right. It's about learning, adapting, and making better decisions as you go. So let me leave you with this. If you're in the thick of it right now, if you're carrying too much, doing everything yourself, not paying yourself properly, answering emails at 10 p.m., telling yourself it's only temporary, I want you to know you are not alone. Every business owner I know, including me, has been there. The difference isn't whether you make mistakes. It's whether you learn from them and change. You can build a business differently than I did. You can ask for help sooner. You can bring in experts before you've burnt yourself or trying to learn everything. You can set boundaries from day one. You can pay yourself first from the very beginning. You can create systems that support your life, not just your business. You can protect your health, your relationships, and your time while still growing. That's not a compromise. That's the goal. That's what a Money First CEO looks like. Not someone who sacrifices everything for the business, but someone who builds a business that supports everything that matters to them. I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes. I'll probably share more of them in future episodes, but I'm better at catching them now, better at course correcting, better at asking for help, and better at being honest about what I don't know. And that's all any of us can do. Keep going, keep learning, keep getting better. So your one takeaway, think about one thing in your business right now that you're holding on to that someone else could do. One thing that's taking your time, your energy, your headspace, and ask yourself honestly, is holding on to this making your business any better, or is it just making you more tired? If it's the second one, it's time to let it go. That's it for today's episode. Keep putting your money first and the rest will follow. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for hanging out with me on Money First CEO. If you got value from this episode, hit subscribe, drop a 5-star review, and share it with someone who's building their business too. All the goodies are in the show notes, and you can find me on socials for more tips and tools to help you. Until next time, keep putting money first and the rest will follow.